Hello and welcome to SBATV Sports Show here on Spadesocial.
I'm Gary John Paul Faulkner.
And I'm Marcus J. Richardson.
This week, Formula One heads to the Nurburgring in Germany. Vettel and Schumacher's home Grand Prix, and we're going to bring you all the top odds.
Also on this week's show, we're going to give you a quick football update, what's happening in Scotland, SPL starts this weekend, and also a quick roundup of the Copa America.
And then we're going to bring you all the top odds for the updated main event card at UFC 133. So stay tuned and enjoy the show. So this weekend, the Scottish Premier League starts a little bit earlier this year. Marcus, wagwan.
Well, the SPL starts this Saturday, as Gary mentioned, a little bit earlier due to Euro 2012 next summer.
In Poland and Ukraine, which is going to be very exciting.
And of course, Scotland likes to allow for a winter break for a couple of weeks over Christmas when it gets a little bit nippy. So this weekend, we have Rangers versus Hearts and Hibs versus Celtic. Glasgow versus Edinburgh. Now, Rangers versus Hearts. Hearts players have apparently not been paid this month. Bit of turmoil there. But Rangers in their final friendly against Blackpool, my beloved team, were victorious 2-0 and are looking quite strong. I think they'll come out on top in that one. Hibs versus Celtic. I think Neil Lennon, after the back of last season with all those bomb scares, he's probably going to be a little bit more relaxed going into this season. I'm looking forward to it a little bit more. I think Celtic will come out on top in that one. My third game, Dundee United versus Kilmarnock. Now, Kilmarnock always put up a bit of a fight, but I think Dundee United will be a bit too strong at home. They've done very well towards the end of last season, Dundee United, and played very well. So for me, the treble is Rangers, Celtic, Dundee United at 3.58 with Stan James. That's a good bet.
It's not bad.
Or you can get 3.56 with William Hill.
Now, Marcus, Copa America is also happening right now. We're past the group stages, into the semi-finals. Tell me a little bit about what's going on.
Well, the quarterfinals were epic. 6 red cards, 2 penalty shootouts. The hosts Argentina knocked out. The holders Brazil knocked out. So we had a semi-final of Peru and Uruguay and Paraguay and Venezuela. Now, Uruguay knocked out Peru to win 2-0 to go into the final. Gary, why is that interesting for SBATV?
That's very interesting because if you check out some of our earlier videos that we did about Copa America, we suggested that if you have a cheeky pound, you stick it on Suarez to be the top goal scorer and Uruguay to win the competition at 66 to 1.
66 to 1!
Here, Marcus, put a cheeky tenner on that. I hope you did too because it looks like it's about to come in.
Oh, exciting times for us too. Anyway, we're going to move on now. We're going to talk a little bit about UFC 133. Well, August 6th, it's UFC 133. Now there has been a change in the lineup, which quite often happens in UFC. Gary, tell the audience what's happening.
Well, originally Rashad Evans was going to be fighting John Bones Jones for the title. But then it was cancelled. But it was alright because they set up a rematch and then that got cancelled. And then Rashad Evans was set to fight Phil Davis for a #1 contendership to fight John Bones Jones. But Phil Davis has had to pull out with just weeks to go. But it's alright. Because at the 11th hour, Lyoto Machida stepped in. And then he stepped back out again because he cited he wanted as much money as Anderson Silva, #1 pound for pound in the world, gets. Ridiculous.
Idiot.
And then Tito Ortiz.
Tito?
Tito.
What, he fought in the last one.
He fought just a couple of weeks ago at UFC 132, surprising everyone by submitting Ryan Bader in round 1. Tito stepped in and went, you know what? I'll have some of Rashad in the main event.
Good on him.
And Rashad went, all right, you know what? We've got a bit of history, me and Tito. Why is that? Well, Tito, before getting his victory at UFC 132 against Bader, had not won in the octagon for 5 years. But during that time, he had a fight against Rashad Evans and didn't lose it. He drew it.
Ooh.
So these two have fought before, a grudge match. They've drawn. The interesting thing about this was that Tito Ortiz was deducted a point for holding on to the cage. If he hadn't been deducted a point, he would have a victory on his record against Rashad Evans.
So, Gary, if Tito Ortiz beats Rashad Evans, will he fight John Bones Jones?
Probably not, but the way injuries are going in the light heavyweight division, there's every opportunity, and he will put himself back on the map if he can beat Rashad Evans. But, as I said before, Rashad Evans is a chess player. We saw it against Rampage Jackson, and we saw it against Thiago Silva. We ain't going to see it against Tito Ortiz because he's not going to need to play chess. More like drafts, because he's going to come out and knock him out in the second round. First round, he's going to look to just play with him, toy with him, pin him down. Second round, he's going to knock him out. Tito Ortiz, bye-bye. You can get odds of 1.29 with William Hill that Rashad Evans will win.
But for round betting, remember you can follow Gary's picks at SBATV.tv, and also in next week's show we will give you another update on round betting in that fight. But Gary, tell them all a little bit more about Vitor Belfort and Yoshi Akayama!
Vitor Belfort, as I said before, he's going to knock him out, but I think he's going to knock him out in round 3. Akayama has got a good chin, but Vitor Belfort is so powerful. He's going to look to end Akiyama's UFC career, wipe that smile off his face, and stick one to Dana White, who has backed Akayama to the halt.
There you go, guys. That's Gary's UFC133 picks. Be sure to get involved in his blog at SBATV.tv. We're now going to chat a little bit about Formula One.
So Formula One heads to Germany this week.
Ich bin 12 Jahre alt!
Back to the Nurburgring. They haven't been there for years. Last year they were in Hockenheim and there was very controversial circumstances last year. Marcus, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, for most of the race, Massa was leading. And behind him was Fernando Alonso, his Ferrari teammate. There was a 4-second gap and it wasn't getting that much smaller. Vettel was in third and closing the gap. And Massa received a message.
Felipe, I've just heard that Alonso is running faster than you. Do you understand? Alonso is running faster than you.
See?
I'm sorry about that, Felipe.
So, Alonso went through and won the race, and Massa spent the rest of the race defending second place, and Vettel couldn't get through. So, controversy.
And Massa really hasn't hit those heights since then, has he? He was talking about championship a couple of years ago, and then this happens last year, and
well, obviously he got smashed in the face.
Nut to the face. That probably had something to do with his decline. But hey, we digress. This year's Grand Prix, Vettel is leading the charts by about 80 points. Is he not, Marcus?
He is. And the thing is, I don't think anyone's going to stop him this weekend either. The German Grand Prix, he knows the Nurburgring so well. So for me, you can get odds of Vettel winning at 2.1, but you can't write off the others, as in Alonso and Webber. They are actually battling at the moment. Yes, there is a massive gap in the title, but they are putting up a fight in the race. And not a bad bet. You can get odds of Alonso winning at 4.0 with William Hill, or Webber at 7.5s. But Gary, I know you love the Brits.
Of course.
Tell the audience a little bit about them.
Well, I've got to say, go for the McLarens, because I always do. Lewis Hamilton and Jenson Button. Now, Jenson Button winning one of the greatest races I've ever seen. A rain-affected race, went on for about 8 hours, but Jenson Button getting it on the last lap to take Vettel. Odds for Jenson Button, 19.0 with Sporting Bet. Now that is worth a cheeky quid, but Marcus, you were telling me about sticking a cheeky quid on a different bet earlier on. Why don't you tell everyone else a little bit about it?
Well, after you stuck a cheeky quid on Jenson Button, you could also stick a cheeky quid. That's 2 quid, yeah, 200 pence. A cheeky quid on any other driver winning than the top 5. So any other driver other than Vettel, Alonso, Webber, Hamilton or Button, anyone else other than those 5 to win at 21.0 with B-Win.
That is not a bad shout. Now, obviously, it's going to be a great race. You can see all of the odds for who's going to get pole at the side. This has been our weekly sports show at SBATV.tv for Spadesocial. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.